Ladies and gentlemen, the Second Amendment is not a collective right. Now, this is where the left is going. I follow them on Twitter. I'm not going to tell you what accounts I follow because they block me, like that clown at Media Matters, Bobby Lewis. He's supposed to be my stalker, and he blocked me. Hey, you're supposed to stalk me all the time. How do you block me? I thought the guy had one job, to stalk me, But they blocked me, so I can't tell you which ones. But I know, funny, right? But I follow these liberal accounts, and this is where they're going again. They're going, oh, this is all about the militia. This was never meant to be an individual right. And I stewed on this over the weekend. I thought, what is the easiest way to distill this down to a simple argument for the leftists that you can debunk this nonsense talking point? And I saw this piece by David Harsanyi in The Federalist, and it's very well done. Again, it'll be in the show notes today. Please check it out. The Second Amendment, is the title, has always been an individual right. John Paul Stevens is still wrong about District of Columbia versus Heller by David Harsanyi in The Federalist. Excellent, excellent piece. A lot of legal wonkery in there, but worth your time. But the gist of it is this. Here's one of the takeaways from the piece I really enjoyed that's very important. Folks, I'm quoting from the piece, and he's quoting Judge Antonin Scalia. He says, putting all these textual elements together, wrote Scalia in his historical, philosophical, and legal exposition of the Second Amendment, we find that they guarantee the individual right to possess and carry weapons in case of confrontation. The meaning is strongly confirmed by the historical background of the Second Amendment. Here's the money line, folks. We look to this because it has always been widely understood that the Second Amendment, like the First and the Fourth, codified a pre-existing right. David's a great writer. I'm going to make it a little simpler for you. Joe, is the First Amendment your right to speech, your right to petition the government, your right to express your religion, your right to assemble? Is that a collective right, or is that a right that belongs to you, Joe Armacost? Not a trick.
That belongs to Joe Armacost.
Thank you, Joe. Your Fourth Amendment rights against search and seizure, legal search and seizure, is that a right granted to the collective or a right to Joe Armacost?
Baby, it's all about me.
It's all about Joey A. It's all about Joey A. Let's get to the meat and potatoes now. So let's put the Second Amendment up first and make this real simple, because we're just going to go to a simple language test. So here's the Second Amendment for liberals who can't read. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So the people who wrote the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, our wonderful founding fathers in this document, said the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So they're talking about, Joe, an individual right here. How do we know that they're not referring to a collective right? Because the exact same terminology is used in other portions of the Bill of Rights, the exact words to be exact, and of course they're talking about individual rights. Let's go to the First Amendment, because again, liberals have a tough time doing things like reading and word comprehension. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of press, or of the press, or the highlight here. Notice where I put my finger down extra hard on the right. You can see that on the highlight. Or the right of the people peaceably to assemble, petition the government for a redress of grievances. So the First Amendment, I had to highlight it for the libs watching the show, uses the exact, literally, not figuratively, right of the people words, terminology in the First Amendment to refer to what is unquestionably an individual right. Mm-hmm. They say, oh, okay, well, that was just a typo in the Constitution. Well, they didn't really have typewriters back then, but whatevs, libs. Let's go to the Fourth Amendment. Let's go to the videotape, as Warner Wolf used to say. Here it is again, highlighted for the libs. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures, you know the rest shall not be violated. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the exact same language. Why would the framers of our Constitution and the authors of the Bill of Rights write about individual rights using the exact same terminology, rights of the people, to refer to individual rights, not collective rights of the militia, and then use that exact same terminology in the Second Amendment, but confuse everybody by using the same terminology then to refer to a collective right? Folks, of course they wouldn't. Right. You're being a dipstick by saying that, and you know it. And so did Judge Scalia, Antonin Scalia, who has since passed, sadly. Of course it was an individual right. If it's just ask your liberal friends. If the right of the people codified in the Second Amendment refers to a collective right, is freedom of speech and against search and seizure a collective, not individual right? No, those are individual rights. It's the same language. Listen, there are 1,000 arguments. Reading through some of the historical documents surrounding the Constitution and the drafting of thereof, it's clear they were referring to individual rights. It's clear they were referring to the militia as individual citizens armed who could then come out and act as a defense force for the United States. It's clear. Just read the documents. Liberals won't do any of that because they don't care. This is a simple explanation. Is the First Amendment an individual right? Yes. Is the Fourth Amendment, is that about individual rights? Yes. Then how is the Second Amendment that uses the exact same language a collective right? Paula, does that make sense? I'm sorry, I have to go to my backup ombudswoman on the show. Because Joe, I know you get it, but I'm afraid this isn't hitting home strongly enough. Like with the libs, they don't get basic things. No, it's definitely a collective right. The Second, yeah, sure, guys. Good job. Well done again. Good, solid legal analysis there.
You know.